gentle. It's a beautiful morning on the Bumper Breakfast, and we're glad to be here with you today. I must tell you, it's the first day of December, and it's an exciting one. It's not just the 1st of December, it ushers in 24 days to Christmas. Yeah, can't wait to start singing Christmas songs. I can't wait to start singing Christmas. And I can't wait to start receiving Christmas gifts. Remember that yesterday we received 2 gifts on the show. I'm waiting to receive more because it's giveaway season. It's December. And on the Bumper Breakfast every December, we do giveaways. So you can be a part of it. My name is Oluwatomisi. And I have sisters joining me this morning on the show.
As usual, my name is Tom Adirele. I'm on the show with Tomisi, as usual. She's just a handful. Welcome to the month of December. I'm excited to be here with you. And by the grace of God, you will be there and I will be. So will my sisters be in January. We will cross over to the year 2023 by the grace of God. Together. It's going to be a wonderful morning on the Bumper Breakfast show. Tomisi, I'm sure you'll attest to that.
Are you guys looking alike?
I'm kind of feeling so. I mean, I actually felt so this morning.
Like I'm wearing the darkest color. Yes, and I think your colors are
almost the same color.
Your fingernails are the same. Good morning. Good to be here on the show this morning. It's a beautiful Thursday morning. And I hope, well, everybody is just trying to calm down with the fuel scarcity and the high cost of foodstuff and everything. I just want us, most especially women. I was so embarrassed this morning on Obaki Jobi way, the way a woman just, jumped the traffic. She jumped the traffic, and I had to look at the traffic light again to be sure I was on green. And even at that point that we almost collided, I was still on green, and she was actually, raging at me, and I was like, excuse me. So I think people are just everybody is just tensed up, and you have children in the car. What example are you setting for the children? For me, I when it comes to setting examples for children, I hold women in high esteem. So when I see women do things like this, I get so embarrassed. I get so so annoyed. Some sort of that. No, this shouldn't be coming from a woman. Though everybody should be law abiding, but then women, most especially when you have your children, in the car with you or wherever you are, be good. The behavior should be different. Be good examples. And you see, it all comes down to the way we behave on a daily basis and the things that we think we can get away with. And then when we now do things, we now get to sometimes feel remorse, and other times people just, do it and say, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter to them, whatever it is that they choose to do. But you see, it's interesting because 2 days ago on the show, we discussed a particular state, Osun State, and we delve in depth into some of the stories and some of the things that we've heard from that place in recent times. And I tell you that yesterday when I saw a recount of some of those instructions, I've never seen an executive order repeal itself that quickly, that fast before. But we'll be giving you the proper side to it. What exactly did Governor Gboyega Oyetola do? And what exactly is the hearsay that you're hearing on the streets, especially traditional media, social media, and then people's mouths are running quite so much. But let's get the right perspective to the stories. Who said what was done, and what wasn't done? That will give us, a proper angle and how to decipher. Your comments sometimes can be really annoying because you really do not know what you're talking about. But we'll give you the information this morning, and then you get to judge by yourself. Let's take a look at the papers before we go straight into the dailies. I'll just take 2 stories each. On the front page of the dailies this morning, the Nigerian Tribune: federal government blames state governments for rising poverty, accuses them of preferring to build flyovers, airports to combating
hunger. All right, that story, it should be the third in our news recap this morning. All right, let me take the news, attached to that. I think that's even, I think it's for me, yeah. The Minister of State for Budget is the number 4 story in the news recap. The Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clement Agba, has blamed the high level of poverty in the country on the state governors, who he said pay more attention to flyovers and airports rather than improvement of life in the rural areas. The minister said 72% of the poverty in Nigeria is found in the rural areas, advised the state governors that rather concentrate attention on building of skyscrapers, flyovers and bridges. Their focus should be on initiatives that will pull the majority of Nigerians out of poverty.
The results clearly show that poverty, at least 72% of poverty is in the rural areas. It also shows clearly that Sokoto State is leading in poverty with 91%. But the surprising thing is Bayelsa being the second in terms of poverty rating in the country. So you see, the issue is not about availability of money, but it has to do with the application of money. I think on the federal government side, we are doing our best, but we need to push that rather than governors continue to compete to take loans to build airports that are not necessary, where they have other airports so close to them, or governors now computing to build flyovers all over the place, and we applaud them. They should concentrate on building rural roads so that the farmer can at least get their product to the market. And I'm sure Wike told you guys about monies that we released, over 500 billion to the oil-producing states. And I've seen some disclaimers from the states saying the small money they are getting on a monthly basis. And some are giving some half-truths of what they have received. We need to hold them accountable so that together we all can grow our economy.
And it's through one of our agencies, that's NASDA, National Space Research and Development Agency. And the concession period for the various types of PPP arrangement, and of course the one we decided to key upon is design, finance, build, operate, and transfer. And taking the due process, like I said, we have the ICRC, which is the agency that is responsible for the assessment, and of course, starting from the outline business case, and then you move on to the full business case. And after going to, of course, also seeking the necessary clearance that we need, even from the National Security Advisor and other agencies that we need to get their buy-in before going to town. So the concession period is for 15 years, and what government stands to benefit in terms of revenue within this concession period is well over 1.34 billion naira, after which the whole project will revert to the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it's a way, like I said, complementing what the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy is also doing, so that we can reach the underserved and, of course, the rural communities in particular. So essentially, that's what the memo is all about, and we're happy to know that this memo scaled.
The memo on national language policy, which has been approved. So Nigeria now has a national language policy. The policy document is here, and if I will have to tell you one highlight is in it, government has agreed now instruction in primary school, the first 6 years will be in the mother tongue. In principle, it has been agreed, but I know implementing it will require a lot of work to develop the material, to teach and get the teachers and so on. But the policy has been approved. Mother tongue is mother tongue. There are 625 languages in Nigeria. If we had the material, let's say instructional material and teachers, this will be used to teach, the community will teach children in its own language. It's not restricted.
All right, next one I'll be looking at here. I think NANSA declares protest over unofficial increase of PMS pump price. And Nigeria has the highest malaria prevalence in children. That's a special report. It's on page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune. The last one. FEC approves a mother tongue for teaching in primary schools. I think this one we need to talk about.
We certainly do. We certainly do. What do you think? I think it's good.
I think so too.
I'm a bit biased about it. Yes, in modern cities, you could say it's good, but when you go to remote areas where they are still struggling, to get to speak good English, we should not forget, as much as mother tongue is important, English is our lingua franca. That's the way you have to communicate with everybody. You are Yoruba, I am Igbo. So you still, and just
need a general language.
And yes, you're still going into the secular world. I would have said that yes, they could compel that the mother tongue be compulsory or something as a subject.
I think the purpose is different.
Being used as the teaching language, for me, I don't think it's maybe in modern cities where you realize that children are fast losing
let's take a break. We'll quickly take a break now. When we come back from this commercial, we're talking more about this. The use of mother tongues in primary schools for teaching has been approved by the Federal Executive Council.
Gbogbo Èkó àkété ire ni ọmọ ìlú ní gómìnà kan ìṣẹ̀yà Jídé Adédìróndé ọpọlọ òfin líle máṣu mátọ ó tó gẹ́ Jàǹdódé ọmọ Èkó ṣe kò kárámá nílùú Èkó mọ́.
Àbí Èkó wa kọ́ rèé tí gbogbo wa jẹ́ alẹ́nu lọ́rọ̀ nígbà kan kíkun Èkó lọ́dà ò tó wọn à ń jó sí dandan ní ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ ará ìlú. Dr. Ọlájídé Adédìran kájú ẹ̀ Jàǹdó for governor kí gbogbo ọ̀nà ṣe rìn fọ́kọ̀ ọrọ̀ ajé tí ò ní pákánleke ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ìbò dídì gbára wa lọ́wọ́ ogun gbódò ńrọ́ṣọ ẹ jẹ́ ká gbárùkù ti Dr. Jídé Adédìran àti Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé sí ipò gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àti igbákejì lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìlọsíwájú tó péye. Vote Jàǹdó for Lagos Governor 2023. PDP power to the people. Àwọn Friends of Lagos ló ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ìkéde yìí.
This is what Father wanted, then maybe we should.
Stop it! Stop it this instant! Stop it!
The dying declaration of a king intensifies the rivalry between two brothers.
We cannot sit back and take it.
Brother, I do not want to fight with you.
And sets them on a path of infinite enmity. How dirty does it get?
But let me tell you something today. I will not sit down, fold my arms and do nothing.
Find out in this intriguing epic story. Itura, showing weekdays at 8:30 p.m. WAT on Africa Magic Showcase.
Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. Yes, so we're discussing the approval of mother tongue as a teaching means or, a language used in primary schools. I think what the federal government, I was trying to jump in on what Yinka Kenny was saying that I think what the federal government tried to achieve by approving this is because if you simplify, it's been discovered over the years that if you simplify the subjects like mathematics, science, in the mother tongue, and you use that to teach it to primary school children, they get used to it. It's the China model, it's the India model. That's why sometimes they seem better. When they say, oh, they are the mathematicians, they are really good at this particular. If you go to Finland, for example, even in Europe, if you go to Finland, if you go to countries like Germany, they make sure, they still speak English, but they make sure that you learn those concepts. They simplify it in your mother tongue, so every child gets to understand it.
But you see, I agree completely. And yes, I said I like it. I do like it. But what Yinka Kenny further broke it down. She said, and I agree 100% with her. So you want to teach these languages and subjects in mother tongue language. But you see, in a place where this is the mother tongue already that they're speaking, they need to learn English.
Yes.
So as long as we're not wiping out English completely, we're going to strike a balance, and we understand the fact that in certain areas they need the English rather than the mother tongue because they already have full command of the mother tongue. Then that's okay. So you're bringing things like this, like she said, should be brought to the cities, the private schools and all of that. That is good. It's to their advantage.
Then again, let's come back to places like Lagos State. The mother tongue here is Yoruba, I suppose. But you get in a classroom, you get the Fulani, the Hausa, the Igbo, the Yoruba.
The majority of them speak Yoruba.
So you talk about the majority. What happens to the minority?
That's what I'm saying. Majority of the children.
So what happens to the? So do you begin public schools? Do you abandon the minority?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So what happens
if a Fulani child is born here? They actually have an advantage over us.
Correct.
And this is the advantage they have.
They already speak
their environment. They already speak their language. And the environment compels them to speak our language.
So they learn another language.
There will still be a minority that will not understand that language.
Of course.
So do we abandon the minority?
No, it shouldn't be abandoning them now.
So what are saying about?
It's not limited.
When you are teaching mathematics in Yoruba, what happens to that Igbo boy that doesn't even understand one word in Yoruba?
That's what I'm saying. It's not even limited to mother tongue. No. It is only going to be inclusive. It's not as if it's going to be compulsory.
I bet you teachers...
How many of the teachers in question can even teach those subjects in the mother tongue?
You see, this is a difficult one.
For me,
because the truth is, we even need to improve on the English, the quality of English that the teachers speak. Talk less of what you see. You can't give what you don't have. You see, so the teachers even need extra coaching and training on English language itself, which is our lingua franca. And at the same time, it will be really nice for our children. And I'm talking because I have suffered this same thing. So I'll tell you, my background is, basically, my dad was an expatriate brought into the country. Okay, my mom is not Nigerian. So they both spoke English. We grew up speaking English at home. Now, it is to our disadvantage because when I started working, and I heard people speak Yoruba, I felt lost. There were times I cried in my corner. I remember when I was working in a state radio station, I didn't get to the level I was supposed to have gotten to because of that snag. I couldn't speak Yoruba.
No, I understand quite.
So it was to my disadvantage, and I had to teach the little I can speak. When I speak Yoruba, it's obvious that it's not really there.
You see, mother tongue basically should be the job of parents.
But basically, so we should have parents who could speak.
No, the thing is, that's it. It means the parents, they lacked
my dad could speak it.
Responsibility.
My dad could speak it, but with who?
That's the point.
But the fact is that
Nigerian.
The fact is that he could have. I've seen an Igbo woman with a Yoruba man, and the children grew up understanding Yoruba and Igbo. But
the wife understands the husband's language.
No.
They speak English.
I think they were intentional about it.
Hold on. So you're saying the husband and the wife communicate in English?
No, with time, she got to understand Yoruba. With time.
Before the children?
No. Even the children speaks better than her.
Of course they can.
Both of them were intentional. And children, they pick. They pick. If you are intentional about it while they are young, I realized it with my daughter. My daughter speaks very good Yoruba, very, very good Yoruba. My son doesn't speak. Because
he's not Nigerian.
Because as at then I wanted him to understand his father's language. So consciously I held back Yoruba because I knew that if he doesn't understand, with time his generation will be lost in their lineage. You understand? But unfortunately I lost both. But so when it came to my daughter, well, instead of losing both, let's understand. So my daughter speaks good. She speaks good English, and she speaks good Yoruba. In fact, when she speaks her phonetics, at times she corrects me. She says, "Mommy, no, it's not." So we need. I think mother tongue is basically the job of the parents.
So when you push it back to the parents. You also have to consider the circumstances. It's easy for us to say, an Igbo mother and a Yoruba father, and they're able to teach their children. But you see,
that's even an exception because most of the time they lose it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But when you talk about someone who's first of all a total foreigner in every aspect, mixed blood from different countries. First of all, you have to get that person to accept the fact that she needs to learn your language and not you learn hers. So that's already an issue. You have to overcome a lot of obstacles.
So I bet to say that you are not Yoruba. So Yoruba is not your mother tongue.
Who says
that? Your father is not. If your father is not Yoruba, then you are not Yoruba.
I didn't say my father is not Yoruba. I said my mother is not Nigerian.
Yoruba.
Oh, okay.
My father is Yoruba, but he didn't also grow up. He didn't grow up here. Right. So it's a matter of he's a foreigner. He's just from a
He spoke Yoruba very well. He's spoken Yoruba, but with who?
Who is he speaking to? He could have spoken to his children intentionally.
He'll be speaking to them and they still will not understand what he's talking about.
No. If he started, no. Children pick language. If he started early enough, how did you and I understand our language?
Because sometimes, listen, you see, you need to understand the home. You see, there are some certain things you need to understand.
So now, if you speak enough Yoruba in my house for my kids to speak very well and understand very well.
If you were speaking Yoruba to us, how would it rub off on my mom? How would she feel? Number one, yes, so that you see, it depends on who the person is, the person's characteristic traits.
So are you telling me that it's the responsibility of the school to teach the mother?
No, I'm not saying that either. But I'm saying, listen, it's a combination of everything.
I just think
and it's also.
But I would say, for me,
can I say this, please? Yeah. It also depends on the child or the children as well. I am not someone who's good in languages. I'm not. I have learned French. I had learned French continuously for 6 years. I still never knew how to speak it properly. Do you understand? And one of the countries I come from is a French-speaking country. And another country that my mom comes from is a Spanish-speaking country. So and my mother spoke 5 languages. She spoke German, she spoke English, she spoke Portuguese, she spoke Spanish, and she spoke French. Very well. And you said I can't speak anything. And my siblings can't speak.
My constitution.
So you see,
my colonization is why we do this. We should also remember the minority that might
definitely
not understand. Definitely, it must be all inclusive, in that environment. That's correct. So I think some of us
should be a mixed teaching method.
That's it. Well, you realize that the way we are wired. Oh, you see one teacher will just go and start speaking Yoruba Pro, and one teacher will just enter the classroom in an Igbo, speaking environment, just begin to speak Igbo Pro. No, but then let me get lost.
Do you know that most of the teachers themselves cannot interpret the concept of those subjects they teach back to their mother tongue? That's some of those topics.
So even the trainers have to be trained themselves.
Exactly the point. So this is not a thing that can just kickstart. But what this should do for the teachers right now is when it comes to the explanation of these concepts, you can explain it in the mother tongue for the children to understand it.
So I think FEC should really, well, we have not read the body of the story. But I think if you ask me, in my own opinion, is I would say FEC should break it down. FEC should break it down in the sense that FEC should not just say teach in mother tongue.
It shouldn't make it a blanket.
Yes. FEC could say it's allowed to, when there is a need to identify that.
Exactly. So they identify this is exactly what the Minister of Education, Adamu said. I have a comment as well, right? All right. He considered that the government is aware that the implementation of this will be difficult, but he revealed that mother tongue will be used exclusively for the first 6 years of education, and then
look at the word exclusively,
and to be combined with English language from the junior secondary school. He said even though the policy has officially taken effect, it can only be fully implemented when government develops instructional materials and qualified teachers are available.
Okay, let's wait till then.
But I'm
telling you, I like it's the Chinese model of education across the world. But
so we have 1001.
I know what I said
in Nigeria. Even in your immediate community, you can imagine different tribes, because naturally we are nomadic in nature. You understand? So we move, here and there, because we have several. We are peculiar. You understand? In China, I don't know, they could have several languages, but I can't bet you they don't have as many languages as Nigeria. Because even as a Yoruba lady,
India does.
Even as a Yoruba lady, we have different kinds of Yoruba. So when we say exclusively, what is happening to the minority that will not understand that language?
But let me tell you something also, because I like to be objective. I like to look at it from all angles, Now, the truth is, a change, there's always a resistance to change. But the truth is, a change is always refreshing. Let's watch and see how it unfolds. Let's never say never. Because once we close our minds to it, it will not work. But if we keep an open mind, it will work.
For me,
it will work. And at the end of the day, we may find that it is to our advantage.
Okay. For me, it's fine. That's exclusively.
I think I'm right.
No,
I'm correct. I think I'm correct.
Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper next. There's a particular story I want us to look at, so we can bring in our first guest for this morning.
Okay. The lead story with from the front page of the Punch newspaper is a fuel scarcity. No planned price hike, says federal government. Queues spread. And the riders are there will not be fuel price hike during Yuletide period, says government. And I say amen to that.
Amen.
NMDPRA assures motorists current stock can last for 34 days. Okay. I hope we'll take that to the bank.
But then the people were keeping it. See, for last night, there was no fuel. But then by 5 a.m. this morning, they were selling fuel. And then sometime around 12 o'clock, they'll stop selling the fuel. Then sometime at night, they'll open up the filling station and they'll be selling into kegs.
Government can't continue.
500 naira on.
Government can't continue subsidy amid diversion. That's coming from a source from the NNPC. And, Ondo Hunter mistakes man for antelope, shoots him dead. Oh my God. That's a big mistake. He mistakes man for antelope and shoots him dead. All right, and the Aisha Buhari story that has been trending all over.
Oh, that's not funny.
It's not. It's not. That's a big mistake. I don't know. Let's just leave that. Okay. Twitter critic remanded in prison. That's the Aisha Buhari story that has been trending for like 2 days or 3 days now.
On social media.
And
I choose not to comment right now.
Honestly, I just reserve my comment on that. I don't know. Finally, I don't want to go to jail.
No, really, it's not even about the jail alone. but then, when these laws, Nigerians really do not read some of these laws. Aisha Buhari was not even aware that the young man in question was picked up by the DSS. But we're careless on our social media handles. She didn't instruct them. It wasn't an instruction.
Okay.
Just like the young man in Kano, was even in Kano, in Bochi, that was, he was jailed. He actually had his day in court, and he was jailed for 1 year for insulting President Muhammadu Buhari. He was an Hausa boy. Now, what exactly was it that he said? There were certain things that he said that contravened the cyber crime law. And so when Boss Mustafa, I think the boys from Boss Mustafa State, something. I remember that on Bumper Breakfast then, we dealt with it and we talked about the fact that, okay, maybe the president could just step in and all that, but the boy went to jail. Be careful what you say on social media.
Finally, Adeleke alleges Osun government vehicles missing, issues ultimatum.
All right, let's talk about the Nation newspaper.
Okay, let's look at the Nation newspaper. So we have the same headline that the Tribune has.
Okay.
So we'll just leave that since we've discussed it. We have Wike takes on governor over derivation payment. Well, I'm curious about that story. Oshiomhole, PDP, a house divided against itself. Well, the rest is left to you to complete. We also have schools to adopt mother tongue as a medium of instruction. We've talked about that. INEC, PVC mandatory for voting in 2023 general election. Of course, we know that. We should know that anyway. Tinubu for Chatham House talks on security and economy. You can find that on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And Abdul Razak takes 189.4 billion budget estimates to Assembly. You can find that on page 3. I guess that's it. Lagos doctor reprimanded over rape, page 3, and a mother beheads daughter. These are we're living in end times, honestly. Lagos doctor reprimanded over rape. Lagos doctor.
Yeah, because remember the story of a woman that called out her husband
for some time.
But I'm interested in that mother-daughter.
Mother beheads daughter, page 3 of the Nation newspaper, page 3.
Wow.
Let's look for it quickly. Yeah. Mom beheads daughter in Cross River. Wow. Police in Cross River State yesterday confirmed that a woman had been taken into custody after killing her young daughter. Blessing Eno, 25, was said to have beheaded the child, whose age was put at about 10 years. Police spokeswoman Irene Ubo said another child of the suspect raised the alarm upon seeing her mother washing a blood-stained machete used in committing the crime.
My God.
The incident happened on Tuesday in the Ugep area of the state. The name of the deceased is Purity. Ubo said, adding, the woman is already found guilty without being told. She will be charged to court. Very sad. Very, very sad. But look at her. She's 25 years old and she has a 10-year-old child. So she had that child at 15.
So she
has absolutely no value for what God has given her.
All right, the last one here, we just take three stories on the front page of The Guardian. We're waiting for my director to connect on Zoom. All right, we have the NGF mom as federal government shifts blame for high poverty to governors. Agba says they rather build flyovers, skyscrapers, but leave the fight against hunger. 8th day, no end to infection by 2030. That one is right there, front page story of the Guardian newspaper. We will take a break. We want to discuss the Osun State story. When we come back from this commercial break, you'll be meeting our first guest on Zoom.
Papa, mama, brother, sister, this Lagos must work for all of us. Everybody da fun Eko.
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don't land for Lagos State gidigba. Money will be for Lagos State, then go use them for Lagos State. Wella, no more baba sope. Then no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Then go take and build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and now only one man fit do this job. His name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jandor. He can't carry one ogbonge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, what do we wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. No be the kind change where they vote before. This one na the original change. How Amumu don't do? Pay they pay.
Everybody da fun Eko.
This is Doha, this is Qatar. We come together tonight, 1 billion of us, in every corner of the globe where the beautiful game matters. Here for the show-stopping magic of a moment.
Get DSTV Compact with an HD decoder plus dish kit for only 14,900 Naira to watch all 64 matches. Here for every fan.